across the South Coast, live from Solent University. You're listening to Solent Sports News.
A very good afternoon and welcome to Solent Sports News, and it's time for the 4 o'clock bulletin. England have beaten Bangladesh by 50 runs in the third one-day international in Dhaka. The world champions were stunned by Bangladesh's talisman Shakib Al Hasan as he picked up 4 wickets which dismantled the England batting order. The Three Lions, however, had already clinched the series, and the loss meant it was just a consolation win for the hosts. The format now changes, and so does the colour of the clothing, as two sides lock horns in the T20 format later this week. Manchester United were humiliated and humbled by their arch-rivals on Sunday. Liverpool beat the Red Devils 7-0 as the Red Devils were given a real hammering at Anfield. The Mancunians welcomed Southampton on Sunday, but before that they host Real Betis in the Europa League midweek. Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp was overjoyed with his side's performance.
The boys were flying, and it was really difficult to play against us. And how I said, performance is super important. 3 points are even more important, and the result is just the result.
Well, it was a very happy weekend for the Saints fans as Southampton defeated Leicester City on Saturday. The win against the Foxes meant that the Saints moved up to the 19th position in the Premier League table and are slowly moving away from that dreaded relegation zone. Ruben Sellés' side, however, have a stellar test coming this weekend as Old Trafford awaits them. The boss feels nothing but positive.
Personally, I don't take it as much important. For me, it will be important to take it at the end of the season. But I know it's important for everybody, for the players, for the club, for the fans, to see that we move forward. And it's one position, but we are hunting, and then we need to move forward and continue doing. And that's the mindset.
Well, the mindset for the manager, Ruben Sellés, seems to be very positive, and why shouldn't he be, as the results are coming in their way. Well, we have football correspondent Liu Chin with us today. Very good afternoon to you, Liu. Some very positive results coming Southampton's way. A big 3 points in the weekend, winning against the Foxes. And every point now is so big for the relegation battling club. But what did you make of the game in the weekend, Liu? And will Southampton, with these 3 points, how much of confidence will it give them going to the latter half of the season?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think any win that Southampton get right now is going to give them a lot of confidence. I mean, as you rightfully said, any 3 points is important because it's just going to accumulate enough for them to get out of that relegation zone. That's the main goal. I think also them exiting the FA Cup may be a blessing in disguise because they can now focus on the league alone.
Yes, Liu, and we did hear Ruben Sellés, the interim manager, as he's been labelled as, and very rightfully so. But hearing him in the post-match interviews and hearing him in the last few games, do you see a change in attitude of the manager and the players of Southampton? Do you see a lot of positivity coming in after a very dreadful start of the season? Very fair to say.
Yeah, well, I mean, you expect them to be. They have to be confident at this point in time. I mean, this is the point in time where they need to push the hardest. It's getting closer and closer to the finish line, and if they drop their shoulders now, it's just going to get worse. So you expect the manager and the players to raise up their shoulders and have that positivity flowing through the whole club.
Well, before I let you go, Liu, you've been following the Premier League for years now, but I'll be putting you on the spot right now. What do you feel? Can Southampton escape the relegation battle?
I think it's possible. I think it's very possible. It's very tight down at the bottom there, and like any slip up, any win could just change the dynamic so quickly. So it's very possible. I'm not going to predict, but I will say that it is a possibility for them to stay safe.
Well played and very safely played, Liu. Thank you for your time. Yes, they do face Manchester United on Sunday. What a mouth-watering clash that will be. Southampton as they travel to Old Trafford. Well, sticking to Southampton, we have some transfer rumours floating around the air as Newcastle are heavily targeting Southampton defender Mohamed Salisu. The Magpies have been eyeing the Ghanaian since January, but the deal never materialised. Yet, boss Eddie Howe is confident to bring the Saints centre-back to St James's Park this summer. Speaking about more transfer news, as there have been some big breaking news over the past 1 hour. As the transfer gossips keep on coming, Manchester United who got a real hammering yesterday. But the fans might have some positive on Monday afternoon, are reportedly very keen to sign Tammy Abraham. The former Chelsea man has expressed his desire to return to the Premier League as United hunt down for a new striker. Well, nothing can go wrong for the Gunners. While the men from North London sit pretty at the top of the Premier League table, the Arsenal ladies won the Women's League Cup yesterday as they beat their London rivals Chelsea 3-1 in the final. Arsenal boss Johan Edewell is overwhelmed after ending the trophy drought.
When you look at the last decade, Arsenal has not been the leading club in women's football in England, and historically it has been, and that is of course the ambition for the club to go back to regain that position in women's football again.
Well, as MMA is the new trend in the United Kingdom, our correspondent Malhar Desai went around the city of Southampton to see how this new sport, and very rightly so, has been taking up in not just Southampton but also in the whole of the United Kingdom.
Let's get ready to rumble!
After the UFC fight of Jake Paul and John Jones, I'm curious, is Southampton really interested in UFC or MMA? Let's find out.
I think the rise of things like the UFC, how it's become really mainstream, one in Asia, but obviously that's available to watch over here, and you've got bigger, like all the other MMA organisations are growing, Bellator, so it's not just UFC. As all of these sort of organisations have grown, people are more and more aware.
But sometimes people think MMA and UFC is just violence. People beat each other for no reason. Is it really the idea? Is this really true?
I guess when you first look at like martial arts, you do think it's just violence, and when you train, you understand that there's a lot more to that. It's not just two sweaty guys trying to knock each other's heads off. There's so much more technique to it, and from the wrestling side of things or to jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is the best example because it's human chess. There's so many thousands and thousands of techniques, and you've got stuff where you've got these small guy that can beat up the big guy.
But as time flies, people have started understanding that MMA and UFC is just not violence. It's about fitness, it's about training, and it also plays a major role in self-defense.
And then there's the other side of things of people wanting to learn it for fitness and also self-defense, and because they're more aware of these sports existing and because there's more gyms around, they're more accessible, that sort of has a knock-on effect, and obviously more and more people want to train because they can. And in Southampton alone there's a proper handful of gyms, so you can literally take your pick depending on your budget, your timetable, whereabouts in the city you live, what gym you like, what atmosphere you like, the choice of classes. So it's definitely easier. There's more access to those kind of disciplines nowadays as well, which helps.
Here was the coach, but I also had an opportunity to talk with a student over there. He says that MMA helped him out to come out of depression. Let's hear it.
Well, when I was my early teens, I had quite a hard childhood, so the gym was it was something that helped me a lot, and the routine of coming to the gym and being able to put my problems aside was a very helpful thing for me. So it's the routine and training in the gym and having some goals and stuff and people around who didn't know about the problems in my life was just a very nice thing, a nice atmosphere to have.
And also, he gave us a few tips of new people who wants to join MMA.
Martial art is hard, you do a few weeks and the first few weeks are really good, and then you start to struggle and you start to feel the hardness of the sport, because it is a hard sport, but it's worth it. So I say to everybody who wants to start, just start, and everyone who finds it hard and finds hard moments, those will come, but if you can push through them, it's really worth it, the sport.
So, MMA is not only about violence, but also about self-defense. NGMA and many other gyms who take initiatives to teach MMA, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing and many other stuff. And MMA can be a rising sport in the city of Southampton.
Yes, indeed. As our correspondent rightly mentioned, MMA is not just about violence, and so is Formula One, as it's not just about speed. You sometimes need wings as well, as Red Bull have certainly got the wings as Max Verstappen clinched the Bahrainian Grand Prix as he kickstarts the new Formula One season on a winning note. Mexican Sergio Perez and stalwart Spaniard Fernando Alonso secure second and third spot respectively. Moving on to some Southampton news, as yesterday, which was the 5th of March, marked a year of the unfortunate passing of cricket legend Shane Warne. The spin wizard was commemorated by the Hampshire Cricket Club yesterday at the Edges Bowl, as the club remembered and gave tribute to one of the greatest ever to have not just played for the club, but also the beautiful game. Our thoughts go out to the family and friends of the magician. World number 1 tennis star Novak Djokovic has withdrawn from the upcoming event in Indian Wells. The Serbian pulled out due to his COVID-19 vaccination status, which prohibits him from travelling to the United States. Well, in more local news, Ripple, a suicide prevention charity, played their match yesterday at Weasley. Peter Langton tells us more.
Yesterday, I went to Haverton Waterloo Fields ground to watch Ripple, a charity, play football. What is Ripple, I hear ask? Well, to tell us more, here's volunteer Harrison Reid.
Ripple is an online tool designed to prevent searches that can be harmful to people. It tracks over 35,000 different phrases and words, and it's a message of hope when people desperately need it. When people are searching things on the internet, it can be a really dark and gloomy place. So Ripple kind of intercepts those searches. Massively crucial in this day and age with technology kind of at the forefront of everybody's minds. It's really crucial that more people know about Ripple and more people download it.
What started the football side of things?
Football side of things started back in the summer, where I did a charity football match, something I always wanted to do, and it raised £3,000 in one afternoon, and kind of couldn't stop from there really. I just thought it's such a powerful tool. Football can really kind of aid people in recovery and social settings, and it's crucial that we kind of get lads together, and it's much better when playing football, being active, and working together as a team.
Tonight, what was the score at the end?
I don't even know what the score was in the end. The result never matters, and it will never matter. The important thing is people are out there playing. It's 90 minutes away from kind of day-to-day life, so
And if people wanted to search Ripple, how can they?
Literally just go on Google, type in Ripple Suicide Prevention, click the download button. It takes 30 seconds, if that, to download, and it's nice to have peace of mind for any youngsters that you may have in the family, or anybody who kind of experiences difficult times. It's crucial to have that kind of last level of support, and that's exactly what Ripple does.
This is Peter Linton for Solent Sports News.
Yes, indeed, very well, very rightly said. The result doesn't matter. What matters is having fun. We do have Peter Langton, who's joining us from the city of Southampton. Peter, well, that's a very interesting story indeed. Ripple, a charity game which raises awareness, especially with the rise of mental health awareness. How do you feel? Because you were there, you were covering the event. How did you feel like sport helps, battling with mental health, and how was your experience?
Yes, well, first of all, it's mainly about suicide awareness rather than mental health, but mental health does include it. There weren't many people there in watching, but this game was more of Ripple using this game to sort of get their charity on the map, and they've got a few more matches coming up towards the summer to hopefully in the summer to hopefully get some celebrities and ex-professional footballers to play in the summer game. And of course, it's like Soccer Aid, but for the charity. So, but this game was more of just raising awareness of the game and of the charity, ready for the summer.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Peter. That was indeed and so important right now for the society indeed. Well, that's all we have for the day. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all were updated by all the sports headlines for the day. There are some very interesting and big matches coming up this week. We all hope we can enjoy that, and we all hope as people of Southampton that our very own club from the hood stays up in the top flight. This is Neil signing off for Solent Sports News Radio. Thank you.